This is Danny Teasdale. We make up Ullswater Catchment Management CIC. Basically, we do what it says on there. We try and combine nature recovery and natural flood management into working farms. We are a CIC, which is a community interest company. We're contracted to work for the CIC, but we have 3 directors, and we're based in Glenriddin. We have a little office in Glenriddin. We basically work with farms and landowners. It's all farmer-led, all landowner-led. So everything that we do is suggested by them. So they come to us and suggest projects that they would like to do on their farm or their land. It's always been that way, and we believe that that's probably one of the best ways of working with people on the ground and actually getting things done. So it works well for us. We're completely grant funded. So we get grants from various different organisations, have done over the years. And we do everything really from the project conception, so working with the farmer or the landowner, onto project management, design if that's needed, organising materials, organising contractors, actually doing some of the practical work as well, such as like tree planting, or Dan does the digger work if it's river restoration. We try and use local contractors as much as possible from the catchment area. So many fencing contractors or people that help us with tree planting. We have a local ecologist. So we try and keep all the work that we get in the area so that the helps the local economy, obviously, and helps the local people who are living and working here. We also do quite a bit of farm support, really, farm advice. That's become something that's become more in demand over the last few years since the changes in the basic payment scheme. So that's been phased out. So farmers, their only other income from schemes would be to go into environmental land management schemes, which have come on board over the last few years, but have just been getting established. Unfortunately, they got stopped as well this last year. Some of them are coming back on board this year, but we're not sure exactly how they're going to look like yet. So we've been asked to help, obviously, farmers have come to us looking to do environmental improvements on the farm because we've been able to do that and they haven't had the scheme opportunities to do that as well. So we have been involved quite a lot with that. We have done events in the past. We do farmer events, really, usually sort of advisory, just things that might be of interest to them, different ways of farming, such like regen farming or soil sampling. We did a recent one that was about sheep-friendly schemes because we feel that particularly sheep farmers, I mean, farming at the moment is can be vilified for and be blamed for the whole world problems. So we're quite keen to sort of try and show the other side of that. So we wanted to support our farmers, and we thought sheep farmers particularly seem in the Lake District get quite a bad reputation, which we wanted to kind of show that we're supporting them, that we know that we can do both. We can do both on their farms, and that includes sheep farms, and that includes sheep farming. So we've done events for that. And I think that was about that. Sorry, yeah.
Give you some examples.
Yeah, so we started through next slide. Yeah, so we're from farming families in the area. Our families have been here for generations. We've both lived and worked on farms. I worked in conservation and National Trust for a while. Dan's worked in rivers. So we sort of always had an interest, always had that background. And we just always believed that if everyone did something on their farm, that the impact on a landscape scale could be really make a huge difference. And it didn't have to be one or the other. You could still have a good productive farm alongside nature on that farm. Storm Desmond was our catalyst really for setting off. I'm sure you're all there. You saw your side of it as well. So we had pretty bad devastation here in Glenriddin and in the whole Ullswater Valley. And it just yeah, it just sort of made everybody sit up and think about what we could do to actually try and be a bit more resilient against that. So we began to explore natural flood management options within the valley. We initiated some very early sort of projects, so with some tree planting on where there'd been landslides, some tree planting on some of where um, we thought we could slow down the water further upstream, and some river channel reconnection that had been damaged, and especially with all the digging afterwards. So that's how it started. It was part of a flood action group that the parish council started as well. So we were all part of that. The whole community was involved. And it went on from there, really. We had volunteers. We worked initially with like Ian Rivers Trust and the West Woodland Trust to help us get projects off the ground. And that was all voluntary. In 2018, we became a CIC, so Community Interest Company, because it was a way of accessing funding, and it just made it formal, and it meant that we could actually get more done on the ground. So that's how we started. Dan started full time in that first, and then I joined later on when things got really busy. Yep.
Yeah, hi everyone. Danny Teasdale. So yeah, apologies about the weird light. We've got this sun phenomenon in Glenridding that we don't normally get, which is kind of throwing it all out. Um, the sort of theme really that we work on is that it's balance essentially. We're trying to show that we can have farming, food production, we can protect heritage, and at the same time we can have nature recovery and natural flood management. So one of the early things that fits into our project and our landscape really simply was hedgerows. And to date, we've planted about 20 kilometres so far. That's 120,000 trees, just like that. We've been actually working to map the rest of the catchment out, what potential we're talking. There's about another 100 kilometres there to do as well. So quite simply, we've got another, there's potential for another 600,000 trees there that fits into the landscape, works with farming. It's one of those win-wins, really. It's great for wildlife. It works for the farm. It's good shelter for livestock. It's such a easy way to incorporate things into it, and this is what we want to do. If you can find something that works for farming, works for nature, works for conservation, works for climate change, then you're onto a winner. And hedges seem to be one of those really, really easy ones. Let me move on to the next one, please. So that leads us on to wood pasture as well. So what we want to do as well, as opposed, is to try and have multiple different habitats really throughout the landscape, and it's not always right to have closed canopy woodland right across the whole area. That has its place, but as does wood pasture as well. And like Maddy was saying before, there aren't as many options open for sheep, and we wanted to demonstrate that there are plenty of places where you can incorporate trees within sheep grazing as well. And the wood pasture is a really simple way of delivering that. You get trees into the ground, you still have the farming. It's another one of those just nice overlap really as well. I'll just go through. And again, ponds, scrapes, with regards to nature recovery, natural flood management, these are just an absolute no-brainer. I mean, you can dig ponds and scrapes, and I mean literally within a couple of weeks, you've got wildlife moving into them already. They are fantastic. We can have these all throughout the whole catchment. So there are so many areas of farms now that there are marginal areas of land. Work on them. They don't hold a lot of use for agriculture. So therefore, a lot of people seeing them now, and especially with climate change and looking at the other side of climate change, the droughts, we're actually looking at additional drinking as well for livestock as well, which we didn't think was going to be an issue, but that is also factoring into it as well. Move on to river restoration. And again, so we've modified, I think, throughout this country, all the sort of 90% of watercourses throughout there. We've straightened and moved them. The whole idea was get the water off your land as quick as possible. We don't need to do that really, and I think ultimately things like Storm Desmond showed us that when we shed all the water as quick as possible off the land, it doesn't help downstream. But again, done correctly, river restoration can work really well with farming as well. You can restore the natural drainage of the land. You can have natural flood management while the river connects to the floodplains temporarily. So you've got storage there. It's great for the ecology. Done correctly, it can be another really, really great win-win sort of project. Have we run out of time yet? Have we?
Just 1 more minute, please, Danny.
1 more minute.
Right.
So yeah, just partners that we've worked with and who we do work with. We get grant funding through a lot of these agencies as well. We always have to apply for grant funding, obviously, but we've worked really well in partnership with National Trust, with the Species Survival Fund and the Green Recovery, which has enabled us to plant a lot of hedges, a lot of wood pasture to do a lot of these works. Climate Agency, through the River Restoration Fund was great. We're able to do a lot of the river restorations and the ponds. We try and make sure that we keep the local community involved. So we get the school to come plant, do whatever, if we can. We get them to come. We've worked with Outward Bound children, universities for research projects. They come to see us. West London Furnace Council, we're exploring some private finance options for some of these projects because it's funding obviously getting more difficult to find. So we are exploring private finance through sort of corporate tourism business possibly to fund those. And I think you asked specifically, Lorraine, about our vision, but our vision is that we hope that for farming and conservation, they go hand in hand, and we don't believe that you can do one without the other. They complement each other if it's done in a good way, which most farmers want to do. So I think we need, for our vision, is to be able to support the farmers not just through finance, but actually, to maybe change some of the ways that they're farming, to change to different, maybe make different stock, that kind of thing that will work better in that environment. But certainly, we believe that the future is to work together, because we found that's the only way we've been able to get things done on the ground is actually by working with farmers. So we believe that's the future for helping against everything from management, flood management, climate change, healthy soils, healthy water. We can incorporate that into farms. So I think that was about all.